Hey everybody, so today I'm going to very quickly teach you guys how to crochet any basic rectangular shape. So this could be a blanket, a pot holder, anything like that. So what you're going to need is a crochet hook, some yarn, any kind of yarn works, and some scissors for the very end. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off like this. We're going to be making a slip knot. So basically what I do is I stick my two fingers through like this, I cross it like that, I put my fingers in, and I grab the yarn that is attached to the yarn ball still. Then we're going to take our crochet hook and put that loop on it. We're going to tighten it up a little bit. We don't want to tighten it too much because we do have to pull yarn through that later. But you don't want it to be too loose either, otherwise it'll look weird. So about that much is good. You're basically going to create this L shape with your fingers, hold the yarn like this, with the excess that is attached to the yarn ball in your hands, your fingers, and then you're going to hold your work, which would be right here. You're going to hold your work with your middle finger and your thumb. So we got the L and this. So doing a chain, very simple. Basically all you do is you wrap once around the yarn and you pull that yarn through the hole. So we're going to do that again and pull it down through that hole. You don't want to do this too tight or it can be very difficult, and you don't want to do it too loose, otherwise it'll make your piece look a little bit weird. So basically we're just going to keep doing that. I'm going to make this very short just for demonstration purposes, but however long this chain is going to be is how long your piece is going to be. If you wanted to make a 6x6 pot holder, you're going to want to make sure that this row is at least about 6 inches. And we're going to be working up, so yeah. So if you wanted it to be a blanket, like a kid's blanket, you'd want to make sure this is about like 50 inches or so, or however long you want it to be. Once we've got that done, we are basically going to, it's going to look like some braids. That's what the chains are. They basically just kind of look like little simple braids. What you want to do is you want to take your hook, and in the braids there's like a top part of the braid that like kind of has a hole. You always want to make sure you're putting it in the top part of the braid, but you're going to stick this crochet needle through that. Let me see if I can get a good view of this. Perhaps not. Okay, so you're going to just stick it through that hole. You're going to again wrap your needle around it and pull it through that first hole. You don't want to pull it through this second loop that's on your strand yet. So now you've got 2 on your hook, and you're going to take the yarn, kind of wrap it around a little bit, and pull it through both of those. And then to finish the stitch off, you basically do a chain. Now to start the next stitch, you see this big hole right here. You do not want to do that, or you don't want to put it into that one, because we already essentially did with that first stitch. So you're going to put it through the next braid. You're going to pull through once. Now you've got 2 on your hook, on your hook, and you want to pull the yarn through both of them and then finish it off with a chain. Alright, I'm going to finish off this row so I can show you what to do next. Again, you want to be very careful about how tight you're pulling these things, because it can be very difficult to work with if it's too tight, because you're shoving your hook in a place there's no room for it, and you're pulling yarn through an area that there's just no room for it. So just be careful. You don't want it to be too loose either, otherwise it's going to look a little bit arts and crafty. It's not going to look, I don't know, it's just not going to look very good, and it's going to be very, very loose. Alright, so we're on our, ooh, see, I pulled it too tight. So we're on our last little braid. Now what you want to do is the last braid, this is before I finished the stitch with the chain. You're just going to again chain, and now what you want to do if you want to start that next row is you just flip it over, and at the very top of the piece, it looks kind of like braids. It's going to look a lot like your chain, because it essentially is, and you're basically going to do the same exact thing that you did to the bottom row. You're just going to go to that very top chain, and you're going to put your needle through it, pull the string through. Now you've got 2. Pull your string through and finish it off with a you're gonna finish it off with the chain, and just basically rinse, repeat. And every time you want to start a new row for a single crochet, you just do that one chain, and you just flip it over and go through the top part of the chaining. I'm gonna do this real quick so I can show you how you would end your row if you were done with your piece. So basically, here we are. I chained 1. All right, so this is the part where we would normally, if you wanted to keep going, you would flip it over and continue, but let's just say we're done. So we're gonna pull this yarn through like this, so that there's this big loop, and this is where you get your scissors out. You're going to cut the piece of yarn that is still attached to the yarn ball. So boom, and then this was our excess piece from the beginning. It's attached to the very bottom of our blanket or pot holder, whatever, and you just pull this through and bam. So this is just one really tiny row. If you wanted to get rid of these, what I would suggest is taking like a plastic needle or something and just weaving it randomly through the yarn. And so basically that's how you make a blanket. Very quick but simple.